33.7% of people wear sunscreen. I'm Laura Ray. I was really shocked by that statistic. I'm a Floridian. So many of the people I know do wear sunscreen. Well, today I thought it would be great for me, since I am a Floridian and I've worn sunscreen all my life, to share some tinted sunscreens with you. Tinted sunscreens have been revolutionary for many people because it makes our skin look better. Women that wore foundation can now get away with just wearing a tinted sunscreen, and some women wear tinted sunscreens and then just put on foundation on top for better coverage. So it helps those of us with dark spots, melasma, to get the coverage that we're looking for. So today I have 6 sunscreens for you that I have been wearing for quite a while now, testing them out to see how they looked on the skin. And here's what we're going to be considering: the feel of the product. How did it feel on my skin? Secondly, the price. What are you truly paying for your sunscreen? I have a shocker for you. I was shocked myself when I did the math. For this video, I'm going to be evaluating the sunscreens that I've tried by a star system. 5 stars being the best, 4 being really great, 3 being average, 2 not so good, and 1 just a total clunker. So let's start first with what I do before I put on sunscreen. I recently purchased this Merit Great Skin. I am loving it because it's so thin. It just feels like water on my skin, yet it leaves it hydrated. It's perfect for wearing under sunscreen. Some moisturizers are just too heavy. And speaking of that, Merit recently gifted me this new moisturizer of theirs, and I love it. I will gladly purchase it myself once I use this up. It's beautiful. It has a nice consistency to it. I can't even describe. I just love the way it feels on my skin. It sinks in beautifully. It feels like butter. It's just gorgeous. It really is one of the most elegant formulas I've ever used, and I don't say that lightly. This really is such a great moisturizer. For makeup today, I'm just wearing a few simple things. I'm going to share with you my favorite sunscreen that I'm wearing right now, and whew, it's a little hot in this filming room, so I'm getting a little shiny, but it really is such a beautiful sunscreen. I'm wearing the Merit mascara. I've got on the Fresh Sugar Lip Treatment. I haven't used this in a long time. This is in the shade Berry, and I think it's really pretty. It gives me some color. And a brand new blush from Essence I'm loving. It's so inexpensive. It's the Blush Crush, and I bought the shade Lovely Lilac, and it really doesn't look lilac on me. I think it has more of a soft pink look to it, but I am loving it. I'm also wearing the NYX Bear With Me concealer, and for this, let's see, I purchased the shade Vanilla, and I think it looks really good in the under eyes. I'm happy with this. And then for liner, I'm not wearing any eyeshadow today. I'm using the Quick Stick from Tarte. I've talked about this before. I love it. It just stays on all day, doesn't budge. It has a liner on one side and an eye pencil on the other, eye crayon. So I just love it so much. Let's start with Elta MD. It's fragrance-free, hypoallergenic, PABA-free, non-comedogenic, dye-free. That ticks a lot of boxes for me. That's what I'm looking for. One thing that attracted me to it was they said it reduces redness. Sometimes my skin is very sensitive to things and I will get red occasionally. So I like that it will tame down redness. It has antioxidants, vitamin C in it. The problem for me that I think would be a problem for some of you is it only comes in 1 shade. So this is like a universal sunscreen. It has 1.7 ounces in it. Now it is a 50. I paid $45 for this sunscreen, which means I'm paying $26.47 per ounce. We'll compare this price at the end with all the other sunscreens. For that price, I wouldn't say this is 5-star. I do like it. It wasn't my favorite for the look it gave my skin. It was decent, but not the best. I'm going to give it 3 stars. It didn't give me the look that I like on my skin as well as others did, but it was a great sunscreen. It lasted. I would say I probably won't repurchase this, but I did enjoy using it, but it's not good enough for me to repurchase. Let's look at Tower 28. I've heard so many great things about this online. You get 1 fluid ounce and you're paying $32. So $32 for this. So this makes this even more expensive than the Elta MD. It has a sunscreen of 30. Now the great thing is it comes in 17 shades. I love that. They have some very deep shades and some very light shades. It's a mineral sunscreen and they say it has light coverage. I would agree with that. It's good for people with acne. Well, I had acne in the past, but my skin's very sensitive, so I thought this might work really well for me. It's vegan and the sunscreen in it is reef safe. So this ticks a lot of boxes for me. I did love the way the Tower 28 looked on my skin. I thought it was a beautiful product, but for me personally, it was a little too lightweight. So they warn you ahead of time if you read the description of the product that it is lightweight. But for me personally, I need a little bit more coverage to not add anything else. So for that reason, I'm going to go ahead and give it 3 stars. Considering the price of this being $32 and me needing to add foundation or a powder with some color to it, that's going to up the price of what I'm wearing every day. And I'm trying to come to a really good price point with my makeup. So I'm going to give it 3 stars. Let's talk about a drugstore tint, the CeraVe Hydrating Mineral Sunscreen. I actually have 2 of these in my stash. And this really is a very nice sunscreen. I purchased it through Target. I paid $13.99. It's 1.7 ounces, so I'm actually paying $8.22 an ounce. And that's super affordable compared with what you're going to hear coming up. So it has a 30 SPF. What impressed me is it has ceramides in it, 3 of them. It has niacinamide in it, and it did not feel greasy. Now it doesn't have the cosmetic elegance of my favorites, I have to say that. But if I'm just running out to the beach and that type of thing, this is a great way for me to save some of my sunscreen that is more costly for going out other places. So I like to keep this because I do want to have some affordable sunscreen since it's something that I wear every day. It's oil-free, and that's really important to me. It feels really nice on the skin, and again, not quite the level of a couple I'll share with you, but I still like it a lot. I think it still looks nice on my skin. So I'm going to give it 4 stars. It's a great value, and I will continue to purchase it. But it's not my favorite if I had a choice and we weren't considering price at all of what I put on my skin. But I think it's great, and especially for those of us on a budget. Elena Mitchell is an esthetician in California, and she developed her own skincare line, I believe, well over 10 years ago. And her products are cosmetically elegant. They're so beautiful. I've purchased many of her products. This is one of them. She calls it the Tinted Physical Defense SPF 44. It's for all skin types. And I just feel it's so moisturizing, and it does feel elegant on my skin. There's a difference to this compared with something you would pick up at the drugstore. And that's why I love it so much. Now in hers, she gives you the most product of any sunscreen I reviewed. This is 2.1 ounces. So even though some people will say, oh, Laura, it's $39, I don't want to spend that much on sunscreen, you're really paying $18.57 an ounce. So it's less than the Elta MD, of course more than the drugstore, the CeraVe, but much more reasonable than people would expect because you're getting a lot of product here. I love the packaging of it. It comes out easily. It's very lightweight. It never blocks my pores. I've never had any rash or breakouts or any problems because of it. The one drawback, I would say, just like I said with the Elta MD, is that there's one shade, a universal tint. And I really don't know how that would look on super pale skin or super deep skin tones. So that's the only warning that I would say, because I'm using it on myself every day and I have a light medium skin tone. So for me, this works beautifully. It does feel like a moisturizer. It doesn't get too shiny. This is the one sunscreen out of all of them that I'm talking about I've worn the most. I just reach for it because of the way it feels. It never feels like I'm wearing sunscreen. It gives me nice coverage. I really love that. So the only thing I can mark this down on is the lack of shades. So for that reason, I'm going to give it 4 stars. But if there were more shades of this, I definitely would give it a 5. Right now, this is what I'm wearing. The Colorescience Sun Forgettable Total Protection 50. This is their Flex. I purchased this a long time ago, loved it, got away from it because of the price. Now, actually, what I was paying was $30 an ounce. This comes with 1.8 ounces, and it's $54. So for me personally, that's very pricey. But I love the way this looks. It replaces foundation. Now, it's a very unique formula. It's got the little beads that you break off in your hands, and then when you put it on your skin, it adjusts to your skin tone. However, they do have 4 shades of it. They have fair, I'm wearing medium, they have tan and deep. I love that they offer more shades. If you've ever purchased this, and you could share what shade you wear and how you felt it looked on your skin, I would love to hear that, especially if someone has fair or deep skin, since that's one that I'm not wearing. But this is so beautiful. It adjusts to your skin tone. It gives medium coverage, and they describe it as demi-matte. I would agree. Right now I look a little bit shiny because I'm under these hot lights and it's already sort of warm in the room that I'm filming. So that's why my skin looks a little bit shinier. Now, what they say you can do, and you can do that with all of these, is apply your tinted sunscreen, and if you do have dark spots or melasma or red marks or anything to cover, you can always add concealer, a powder foundation, or a regular liquid foundation on top. And that's what I do with some of the tinted sunscreens I've purchased that go on really light and my skin is showing through quite a bit. Like the Tower 28, I might add something like my Laura Geller powder on top just to give me a little more coverage. But it really depends on what you're trying to cover. So $30 an ounce is sort of pricey. However, it's replacing sunscreen for me. I still can see my broken capillaries here. So, and I did put concealer on today. So if you have things standing out that much, you might still need to do that. Or what they say to do, I'm going to do this right now, is take more product. Because right now I only have really one layer of sunscreen on, and go back over that area. See, that's covering it better. So that's another way. But I still can see a little bit of purple through, and I would want to put on a little concealer. So for me, it's worth it, and I'm going to give this one 5 stars. Now for the shocker of them all. I saved this for last because this is really surprising. It surprised me too. This is the Avène High Protection 50. I love this. It is so wonderful. It's a cream sunscreen and it goes on like a foundation. I'm going to put a little bit on top of what I'm wearing now, right on the nose. And this will probably cover most of the redness. Now this gives such amazing coverage. And the great thing with this is because it's a compact like this, you could take it with you out and during the day apply more. It feels like a cream foundation. That's exactly what it feels like. It does not feel like a sunscreen at all. To me, it feels like makeup. It's a cream to powder formula. It won't clog your pores. That's a big one for me. It's made for hypersensitive skin. That's me. I'm the person with hypersensitive skin. I always have been. So another box it ticks. It's reef friendly. It's also recommended by the Skin Cancer Foundation. So it's fragrance free. It has even no wheat in it. So this product seems pretty much perfect and I do love it. I think when you look at my skin with it on, it looks heavier than the other formulations that I've tried. It does have more of that cream foundation look, but I would think too for someone with dry skin, they may love this because it feels very moisturizing. Now let's talk about price. This is where it gets dicey. This is $42. So you say, well, Laura, that's less than the Colorescience, right? Well, remember this has 1.8 fluid ounces in it. This has 0.3. That's right, 0.3. So if you divide that out, it's $140 an ounce. That's how much it would cost, $140. Well, think of this. This is 1.8, so you're getting close to 2. So that means if you put that into this cost, it would be, let's see, about $280. Close to that. We'll take off a little bit, $270 say. That is pricey. I couldn't believe how much this was when you think of per ounce. It was shocking to me. So because of that, normally I would give this 5 stars. I love the way it looks. I love the idea of not having a bottle with me when I need to touch up my sunscreen and being able to do it like makeup. But holy smokes, $140 an ounce. That is so much money. So I'm going to have to pull off at least a star for that because of the cost. So I will give it 4 stars just because it's a great product. But the price, I wish it was lower. One of the questions I get asked most about sunscreen is, Laura, what can you do during the day when you need to reapply sunscreen on top of makeup? Well, of course you can get a powder like Colorescience. I've had that before where the powder and the brush are built in. I'm not a huge fan of powder, so let me show you what I prefer. You can take your sunscreen. Now, I'm using a very liquidy one. I don't like anything that's too thick for doing this. So I'm using the La Roche-Posay, and this is a 50, and it's got tint in it. So I'm sort of helping my foundation look better and getting my sunscreen back on all in one. So I'm going to put a little bit on the back of my hand. So you could either carry this with you in your purse or put it into a separate container. Take a brush like this. This is my Laura Geller brush that is very compact, and just dab into it. Get your sunscreen on the brush and then just press. This way, I'm freshening up my sunscreen. I'm going a little more lightly around where I have my blush, but I'm getting all my spots, going above the lip line, getting on the nose. That's where I usually need the most sunscreen, and it wears away there faster. Under the eyes. Now you can still see my blush. It's still peeking through. I'm going to put a little bit more because I need to do my forehead. You could always carry a little clip or bobby pin with you to just sort of pull your hair back while you're doing this. I like the little clips, but these are great too. And just go on top of your makeup. So I've freshened up my makeup. My foundation looks better and I'm getting coverage. This brush is great because I can go right onto the neck, pull it down onto the chest. This is where I tend to get more sun in here. And let's take a look. I've freshened up my sunscreen and my makeup all at the same time. So what I wanted to do at the end here is show you by price from lowest to highest which they were, because some of them were closer in price. So the lowest price of the bunch was the CeraVe at $8.22 an ounce. In second place, shockingly, was the Alana Mitchell. It actually comes out to $18.57 a fluid ounce. In third place is the Elta MD at $26.47 an ounce. In fourth place is the Colorescience at $30 an ounce. Next we have Tower 28 at $32 an ounce. And next we have the Aven in last place at $140 per ounce. Wow, that was a fun video. If you thought it was fun, make sure to subscribe and give a thumbs up if you'd like to see more like these, especially if you'd like me to do more where I'm comparing prices like this and we sort of get down to the nitty-gritty of things. I appreciate you all so much. Everything's linked in the description of the video. Share your favorite sunscreen in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. I'll see you soon.